This is a bit annoying to me because I don't get it. How can you say I am black male identified if I'm by people? I usually get this from people in the Cynthia G sector. I don't get it. If I'm the one who is saying the whole thing about black men having penises that look like feces, how am I black male identified? What black male identified individual does that? I've never heard of them saying that black men have penises that look like feces. Like, what do you mean, black male identified? I mean, you guys are the ones screaming about black dicks. I mean, that's the only thing that can satisfy you and all that shit, you know? So, I mean, like, if anyone's black male identified, it's you. Because you're crying, screaming, and freaking out about black men and complaining about them. And then in the next breath, you're saying how much you love black dick. And it's so good that even though everything that you just complained about, black dick is still better. You know? So if anyone's black male identified, I'm gonna think it's the Cynthia G followers and sympathizers and things of that nature, because they're the ones screaming about black dick, and then at the same time, you know, complaining about black men and saying you're gonna stay with black men for the rest of the time because black dick is so good. And I'm the one who's saying his penis looks like feces, it's diseased like feces, no wonder he has STDs. So, if anyone was hearing these words, these, like on a script, for example, say there was a script and we wrote out what you guys say. Black men, you complain about them in one regard or another, but at the end of the day, you see at the bottom of the script, black dick is so good, nothing else can satisfy you but black dick. You know, despite everything, you're still going to be with black dick. And you're always going to be with black dick because black dick is so good. And then you read mine, and you're going to say, for example, I don't really care what black men like, what they do in their lives. Doesn't matter to me because at the end of the day, I just think that their black dicks are basically wrong, like attached feces that can't be flushed into the toilet. Like literally, that stuff looks like feces. You know, that's what I've always said. And to me, it looks diseased. It looks like it has STDs. And I've even said in the past, you know, waste obviously will become disease. After a while, if you just keep it hanging around like that. You know, feces, for example, if you have feces out and about and it's not flushed in a toilet, it's going to kill you. It's literally going to kill you and anyone else that's around you. So trying to have sex with someone who has feces for a penis is deadly. Just saying. And that's how I see people who have sex with them. Like, it's deadly. It's disease-ridden. That's just how I see it. Now, does that mean that they are diseased? No. There are some decent, good, clean black men. You know, there are some black men who are, you know, successful. They just have penises that look like feces. It's not actual feces. I know that. But I'm saying that if I personally see it that way, do you think that I would ever be a black male identified female? How? I literally use the same rhetoric Divested Zealot uses. She uses the term shitlog. I just say that the black penis looks like feces. Is there any difference here? Only difference is actually I'm not nice enough to give them the term log. I always thought log is giving them too much at that point because they try to say they're so big and that it's a log or whatever. No, they don't even all have big penises. So why are we giving them that credit? I don't know what we would. Honestly, for me, I prefer smaller, and because I prefer white men, it is a problem. You would think you guys claim that white men have smaller penises, but in my experience, they don't, and it's a major problem for me because I don't want a man with a big penis. Especially white men with big penises, they tend to prefer black women more often because they think that black women prefer bigger penises, which we don't. It's just a stereotype. Now, if you're a petite woman, and I know people don't like to talk about the petite black woman, and it's a thing, you guys hate my mother for being a petite black woman, even more than me. And you guys seem to have some vitriol towards me. If you ever came in contact with my mother, you'd go, oh my God, you'd have a heart attack. But anyway, and my mom is really blunt and kind of, she's not gonna pussyfoot. Like, I pussyfoot around with you guys sometimes, I admit that. But my mother would not pussyfoot around with you guys when it comes to colors and stuff. Oh my gosh, she would just lay it right down. And she can do that because she's dark skinned. I tend to be a bit more pussyfooty because of the fact that I'm not dark skinned. But that's a whole nother topic. I'm just saying in general, my mother would probably bother you a whole bunch. But anyway, yeah, it just doesn't really make much sense that you guys say that I'm black male identified. You don't even know how to not be black male identified because you're so wrapped around that black dick that you can't even think of how to actually not be black male identified. You think if you complain about the problems of your boyfriend, the problems of another black man choosing a white woman because it makes you feel inferior or insecure, that somehow that accounts to not being black male identified. No, it's quite black male identified, sweetie, because what you are doing is you are basically trying to say that I am so stressed that black dick isn't thinking about me right now. I need black dick. Why doesn't the black dick love me? Oh, I want to be loved so badly, but black dick, please love me. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. You are someone who basically is so obsessed with black men, okay? You are black male identified. You don't even understand how to divest because you're so obsessed with black men. You think about what kind of fathers black men are going to be, what kind of husbands black men are going to be. You think about what kind of partners black men are to white women. You are obsessed with the fucking black man, okay? Anyone more invested than you? I don't think so. Even mammies are less invested when they are black male worshiping because what they usually do is go where they are desired. And so then they worship the men that they think, give them good attention, and then it's reciprocity, basically. You guys, on the other hand, stay obsessed, and nobody is even checking for you. So you are really, really, really mad, and you make yourself look like a damn fool out here. I've always hated it because you guys try to come and push yourselves over to the divested side because you look like a damn fool to the mammies, and then to us divestors, you look like a damn fool. Who doesn't think you look like a damn fool at this point? I think it's safe to say everybody thinks you look like a damn fool because you are sitting up here complaining and then at the same time celebrating black dick. What it all comes down to is a reject, basically. A person who is mad that they don't get attention from the man they want and feels insecure, and generally they have a big insecurity with white women. You guys definitely do. And I think that plays into it. You feel you're less than, therefore men who approach you feel like you're less than and you're a lesser quality woman because you deemed yourself a lesser quality woman. So, I don't even have an opinion like, oh my God, I think you're bad people or anything like that. I don't necessarily think you're bad. I think you are sad. You're a sad individual. Reason why you're sad is because you are the type who is still chasing men who you claim don't want you or aren't interested in you, and still you're praising them for their big black dicks, which aren't even all that big. They just look like feces. So to me, you, Cynthia G, supporters are the black male identified black women more than anyone else. And you're definitely more black male identified than me, a divester. It's so weird. Like, seriously, pay attention to what I say. This is why every other live video that I do, black men freak the heck out because I'm gonna talk about how I'm not attracted to them. Honestly, I want to get into this because, people like, for example, Divested Zealot and some other content creators like that, people will say, why are divestors angry at black men or they try to attack black men? To me, in my opinion, this is my perspective. I don't think that those people really attack black men or would attack black men if black men didn't busy themselves into our lives. The thing is, this is what I find personally as a divester. I have been attacked by these black men because of a preference, because of my interests, and I have to go in and explain. And then on top of it, because of you Mantonese, I really have to explain because you guys are always talking about what a black man did to you, that you're hurt, that you're sobbing, that you're sad about black men, they broke your heart, or whatever the fuck happened to you, And from my perspective, it's like, I don't want to be associated with you fucking fools. And, honestly, a year ago, I was associated with you fucking fools because they thought that, divested meant, in common with Cynthia G. I am not any stupid reject like you. I choose not to be with a black man because that's my preference. And then the other side of it is the anger towards divestors and women who don't find black men attractive. We encounter a lot of hate from them naturally. We just do, And to me, I think that if black men left us alone, there would not be any problem here, And that's why I feel like with Divested Zealot, you can't blame her for reacting to black men in the way that she does on certain issues, especially for the safety of black women. When all you've seen from black men is violence, is it really your fault for calling out violence from black men? And the reason we call out violence from black men is because we see the worst side of black men because we're rejecting them. See, people who are attracted to black men, they don't see the worst side of black men. We do, And, of course, if you see the bad side of black men all the time, you're going to speak on it. And that's why for me, I don't even go and attack black men for their personality or who they are, because I think black men can be any personality, because their skin tone doesn't define them. I'm going to go for them for what, I'm more the type that's honest. That's all. That's why I tell them that their penises look like feces. And it's not like I'm just trying to say it just to be mean. Honestly, to be completely honest with you, I would never tell a black man that if he didn't try to attack me for just my interest in white men. If you just leave it alone, nobody has to say a damn thing. But because they have to, try and attack people simply for their attractions, that's why people become honest, and in return, obviously, it's going to be rude, because, nobody really wants to talk about that if, nobody's attacking anyone. I wouldn't say it to a black man. If he's not attacking me, why would I say it? And I think that's the same thing with, divested platforms, Divested Zealot and so forth, and other platforms where the black men are, probably make it worse on divested black women. Women who aren't attracted to them and are never going to want them. They make it worse by the harassment and the anger and the anguish because they realize we're not into them. They may not even know why. And in some cases, they kind of figure out why. I don't know how they figure it out. I think it's more so type of way you carry yourself. If you seem supposedly whitewashed, they'll definitely think that and really go after you. I'm one of those who they call whitewashed, but I'm not really, because there is no such thing as whitewash. But my point is, you guys constantly are, going after a black man because they don't want you. That's different than I've been attacked by black men because of a preference, and I'm constantly attacked by black men because of a preference. Of course, people bite back because that's what people do in nature. If somebody attacks them, they bite back. They fight back. It's just what it is, you know. Like I said, divestors would never have to have anything against black men if black men didn't come after divestors. If black men just left divestors alone, there would be nothing. There would be nothing going on. So telling me that I'm black male identified is way, way far from it. I'm way more divested than you'll ever imagine being. Because you can't think of life without a black dick, and I don't understand life with one, okay? I've never been with one. I've never had a dream about one. I've never talked to one. I've never been interested in one. They are, when I was growing up, I was taught they were scary, one. My mother doesn't have a preference towards them either. We kind of have similar preferences when it comes to interest in men, to some extent. But I would say I think I prefer white men a little bit more, and she I think prefers more light skin, black men, mixed, I think. But yeah, um, the point is I was taught to prefer white men, you know, and I was taught to look at all black men of any color, by that matter, as scary. Even though I've always been taught that it's not all. You know, I've never had the belief that just because you're black, you're a bad person. And this is why, for me, I'm not the type to attack black men just for them being black. I'll attack them for their phenotype. Because, I mean, you want to ask me why I don't prefer you? Well, then, there you go. There you go, okay? I mean, like, nobody has to tell you. I won't, don't ask, won't tell, you know? But if you're going to ask in a rude way, then I got to tell you, you know, kind of thing. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I'm obviously not black male identified. You Cynthia G supporters, fans, and freaks, you guys are black male identified completely. You know, you're very black male identified. If you're not, nobody is. Because you are so identified with these men that you feel like you must still be with black dick, and you still want black dick after everything that you said was bad about them. So you can't leave them alone because there's no other options for you. That's your preference. You gotta accept your own preference. See, you know how I talk about Hispanic men, for example. I say specifically with Hispanic men, I learned early on too, and it didn't take me long. It's just to understand that is a part of my preference. I was taught they were trash. I was taught that they were disgusting. I was taught and I saw that they were, you know, on welfare, you know, had kids out of wedlock, single moms, you know, crime and so forth. I was taught all those things. I saw it with my own eyes. I didn't even need to be taught it because I could see it with my own eyes. I mean, and then on top of it, I saw how they want to be white, the racist, and all this issue. I knew all that, you know. But that doesn't, I always knew, but, you know, I'm still attracted to Hispanic men. I do not come up on here and start saying, I hate Hispanic men, blah, blah, blah. Look at what one did today. Oh, I saw a Hispanic man. He was living in a tent somewhere. Would I do that? No. And I didn't see a Hispanic man living in a tent, by the way. I'm just saying an example. But, I mean, I'm not going to just go trashing men that I'm attracted to. I mean, that's my own dilemma. That's my own problem. If I'm attracted to Hispanic men, I just need to make sure my quality of men is better, you know, and obviously not give anyone an opportunity who is, you know, really smoky, dusty, you know. So, I mean, that's what you guys need to do. You need to focus on getting better. You don't need to focus on what's bad. Focus on what's better. And that applies to black men, you know? If you are stuck to the black dick, find a good black dick then. Find a good man with a good black dick, okay? And live a happy life. But, you know, I'm just trying to say I'm black male identified, sweetie. I'm not. There's nothing about me that's black male identified. My complaints with dating are never with black men because I've never dated one. I've never even looked at one. When I talk about bad relationships, dysfunctional situations, I've talked about some dysfunctional relationships in the past. And they would be like Hispanic couples, I think, some white couples, so forth. I don't really associate with black people. I've never even lived with a black person outside of my mother when I was a kid. So that's what I mean. I'm just not black male identified. No, I'm not even black woman. I'm not even around a lot of black women, really, honestly. I mean, I am a black woman. That's why I have, I guess, a leaning towards that because I am a black woman. But point is, what I wanted to say at the end of this was, I am not black male identified. You fence sitters and you Cynthia G fans, freaks, and followers are black male identified. Cynthia G is a black male identified individual. And like I said, you need to come to grips with your attraction and interest with black men and fix it. So, alright, thanks. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, guys. Bye.